You got your little suction device. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Ljs Garage. I am sitting in a 2021 Chrysler Pacifica. This one is a limited with all-wheel drive, the 3.6 liter V6, and all of this greatness packed into a minivan. I find myself to this day in more and more minivans, and the more and more I'm in a minivan, the more and more I like a minivan. That was a lot of words, but stay with me as I give you a little tour and walk around of this Chrysler Pacifica and why you should keep this on your list if you are indeed shopping for one. And when it comes to all-wheel drive, great fuel economy, things like that, it's up there with its competitors. So, with that being said, let's get right into things. I'm hoping that a minivan isn't like one of those pregnancy blankets or something, and so, you know, the more I hang around them, the more I'm destined to sell my cars and get a minivan. I don't know. I'm hoping that the juju gods don't do that to me. If you're looking for a Pacifica and you just stumbled upon this video and you're like, this is not in my budget, first of all, this one's right around $55,000, which is actually really not that bad. Believe it or not, the price of cars just aren't what they used to be. Now in this day and age, a minivan is fully loaded luxury, and the top of the top for the Pacifica is the Pinnacle, and that is just an extraordinary minivan, which I haven't been able to find one, but I will soon, and I'll show you guys all about that. For my parents out there, you've got your forward collision avoidance, you've got your lane departure warnings, you've got all of those safety features. Don't worry, you're good. If you're on the fence about whether or not you want all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive, well, this may answer that question for you. So the all-wheel drive is a $2,500 option, and on top of that, if you want all-wheel drive, you have to go with the 3.6 liter V6 engine option. Otherwise, if you go with the hybrid system, that unfortunately is not all-wheel drive. So it will be front-wheel drive, and that pretty much solves that problem for you. And on top of that, you do have the option, if you want, you can get a little bit of a towing package per se on this one, which lets you tow about 3,600 pounds. So that's pretty nice. If you've got jet skis, that's always what I go with. Do I own jet skis? No. Do I own anything that's towable? Not really. Do I want to tow a little trailer with my minivan? One day, maybe. 3,600 pounds is a solid amount. So if you go with the V6 options, you're looking at about 19 city, 28 miles per gallon highway. Did I mention that this has a Harman Kardon sound system? Yeah, it's pretty much expected, so you can listen to Coco Melon or whatever kids listen to, or Kids Bop or something. Let me see if I can find something. But yeah, it's solid. So with this one being all-wheel drive in the 3.6 liter V6, which is a very reliable powertrain and everything, so you don't have anything to really worry about there, this one is going to bring about 17 city, about 25 highway. You'll notice that this one is a little bit more sporty than a normal Pacifica would be, and that's because this does have the S appearance package. S, my guess, stands for sport, and that gives it these gloss black wheels, the black roof rails, the black grille, just pretty much blacked out, cool, you know, appearance package. So that's pretty nice to have if you're interested in that kind of thing. Not only that, but you see this seat right here? That's Napa leather. And you see that S badge? It means I go about as fast as any other Pacifica, but you know what? This is a little bit more sporty just because of these seats, because of the appearance package, and it matters. So if you're trying to convince your wife, husband, anyone in between that they need this Pacifica, maybe go for the appearance package. It could change their mind. There are two different transmission options going on in the whole grand scheme of the Pacifica. You've got a 9-speed traditional automatic transmission, and then you have their FCA's version of the CVT, which gets the job done. So it all just depends what you're looking for. Be sure to make sure you know exactly what offerings you're really in need of. You know, if you live below the snow belt, then you probably don't need the all-wheel drive, and hybrid and getting that better fuel economy may be worth it for you. So let's talk about the outside really quick. Here's a couple different shots. You can see what it looks like. I'm a huge fan of this. I think it looks pretty solid. I don't love the shape of minivans, but I understand why they are that way and why that makes them more practical, but it just doesn't really give you the most aesthetically pleasing look. But minivans have come a long way, and they're no longer, you know, as lame as they used to be at one point. And if you don't know, I am YouTube's biggest minivan ambassador, self-proclaimed, but one day I'll get an award. Maybe from Chrysler, maybe from Toyota, maybe from Kia. Who knows? But alright, so for this one, I'm going to pretend like I have little children, and I'm going to imagine what it's like being a parent and living with the Pacifica. So let's do this. So let's go ahead and we'll start with the back. Oh wait, nope, that's me. but I'm still sitting in the back, so we'll talk about that. You got a power liftgate. Boom. Look at all the space. So now you've got this stowed, and you go ahead and you press this button right here again, so left, and you put to normal, and you watch it go, and you tell the kids to shut up, and just wait, and wait, and wait. This is a good time to give them a Capri Sun or something. I think kids like that. And boom, you're done. And then you'll see under here, you got this little under storage here, which is nice. I'll talk more about this vacuum system in a little bit, but under this little panel right here is where you'd have access to service, filters, empty your trash, all of that good stuff. But otherwise, there's nothing really to dive into. It's a really easy setup and really easy system to use. Comes with all your little vacuum hoses and attachments, and I'll show you guys more about that once we get inside. This little lift gate is power. Push that button, back out of the way, and she closes. Ta-da! And we'll take a look at the back. This looks pretty nice and clean. You got your little limited badge, your all-wheel drive badge, your Pacifica with the S. There's your little tow setup right there. And overall, it's a good looking ride. We'll talk about the key fob here for a second. So you've got remote start right there. You can open the tailgate there, and then you can go ahead and pop the side doors open automatically. So I'm like, all right, you know, it's time to go to soccer practice. So boom, pull that forward. Look at that. Easy. I could just get a running start. Ugh. Oh my Lord. And jump right in. And look, just like that, you're in. You just pull this seat. Boom. And I'm 5'9". You know, I hope your kids aren't taller than me, but they might be. Some of you have some large children. And so I'm sitting in the back seat comfortably. This third row, it's pretty solid. And not only that, you got a little sunroof up above, so you can open and close that. This is a little bit of work, but the kids might break that, I have a feeling. I don't know, kids like to break things. I don't know. But if you also wanted, you see these? Ho, 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 ho. Oh yeah, so if you're in the third row, just look at that. You relax, pop this window open, and it's just a good time. I don't know much about backseat adventures, but I do know that it just kind of makes sense to have all this comfort and luxury and whatnot, because the better the kids are comfortable, I imagine the better your day will be. So as a top minivan spokesperson, I support this. It's a lot easier to get in the third row of a minivan than it is to get in the third row of an SUV. There are some exceptions, but this is pretty hard to beat, especially with the captain's chairs, which is what this has. So you got this nice little aisle right here, so you can just run in and out instead of moving the seat. But if you got to move the seat, boom, give it a little nudge and it's out of your way. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave these headrests up for the meantime, and I'm going to show you why a little bit later. You got your USB charge ports there and your Type-C. So pretty much everything that a kid could need. You've got little visors, sunshades, and that'll keep the haters out and keep your kids from getting direct sunlight. And let's move into the second row. Okay, so I went ahead and got this set up. It's really easy. This hose runs in here and it connects in the back where I showed you guys earlier. But you take a look at this and you got easy access. You pull this thing here, you got your little suction device, and this suction device is really powerful, I think. Just like that, you put it in, and it's got multi-purpose uses. 10 out of 10. I think it's just something that most cars should come with at this point, especially minivans, which most of them do. Yeah, you got your little shades here, boom, boom, vents there. We'll put this seat back up. That guy's in place. The leather on this is nice and soft. It gets the job done, and overall, this is a great place to be. So now I'm sitting in the second row, still 5'9". I may have grown a little bit in that short time, but you never know. And so you got another visor here. If you look up to this side, boom, This is where you're gonna have your climate control vents for the rear occupants, and you can go ahead and do that. So you have tri-zone climate control. We'll turn that off. And then turn your attention to this side door here. You can see that you got heated seats. Boom. You've got 2 different levels of toasted buns. Push this button here, that'll open these side doors. And other than that, there really isn't too much to talk about. You got some more charge ports there. But this is how you drive around in style. I will say that. And I may be easily entertained and easily pleased with suction vacuum cleaners and things like that. Sorry, I know the phrasing on that's a little weird. But this thing is just nice. This is how a minivan should be built. This is how luxury should be when you have multiple people that you're taking care of. And let's talk about the stow and go options here. So as you can see under here, there's a cavernous space, and that's so you can put this seat down under there. Okay, so now we're in the driver's seat. Take a gander at all of this. Take it all in. It's pretty nice, wouldn't you say? This material, I can imagine if you have little grubby hands touching it a lot, it'll get pretty fingerprinted and gross, so you have to keep a little cloth to keep that clean. But other than that, that's not too big of a deal. On the steering wheel, it's nice. It's kind of got this like double textured thing going on. You've got your radar cruise control settings right there. Your forward collision avoidance is controlled off. All that good stuff exists. Looking at your gauges, they are partially digital, partially analog, and you can go through this menu fairly easily. If you're familiar with any of the FCA products, this is kind of, not really anything that's too hard to figure out. Nothing else too crazy to really talk about up here, so we'll turn our attention to the center stack. And this is where you'll find this very nice display. Let's go to the home screen so you can see what this looks like. Beautiful. And special thanks to Jeff Weiler, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram over here in Springfield for letting me take a look at this beautiful Pacifica. And here you'll notice that you got your media controls, you got your Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, where all that magic would happen in here, comfort settings, all these climate control stuff. You can actually just turn your attention down here and they're right there. So I love that. Volume control is still an actual physical button. You got your push that. That's your park sense right there. So that's pretty nice to have. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But let's go back up here to this actual center display, and you'll notice that you got your navigation that no one ever really uses. You've got your phone settings here. No, I don't want to pair a phone right now, but that's where that would be. Go into your vehicle. Remember I said I left those third row seats up for a reason. This is very important to me personally because I hate having to go back and put those headrests down. So we go back into it, and now I'm going to push the button. Bam, look at that. Unfortunately, you can't put them back up from there, but that's fine. Let's go to your surround camera. Look at these, all these angles and different ways that you can make sure that you don't hit anything. You even got a little trailer view on a minivan. Isn't that awesome? It's very awesome to me. But, that's pretty much all the bells and whistles in here. We could go into vehicle really quick, and I'm going to go into settings, and I'll go to safety and driving assistance. And this is where you'll see you've got automatic emergency braking, you've got lane sense, and if you click on that, you don't know what it is. You click on that, it says it sets which distance the steering wheel will provide feedback for potential lane departures. So you can make it late, so it lets you drift out of the lane a little bit further than it would if you were not paying attention or something, which I hope you're not, because your kids will probably be in here with you. But still, you can change the strength of which it actually, adjusts the wheel, and that could be pretty scary for some people. So it's nice to have that on a relatively low setting. And then let's go up further. You got your, parking assistant, blind spot alerts, hill start assist, all the basics, all of 2022's basic and 2021's basic technology and safety. So it's pretty nice to have all that. Otherwise, there isn't really much to dive into in that menu, but it is there. You got your heated and cooled seats. So if you click on your seats right here, you'll see that heated, ventilated, heated steering wheel, and you can sync to match the driver passenger side. So, all of that good stuff. You got your electronic parking brake, lane departure again here. So physical buttons to mess with the same safety controls, along with, countless different ways to get things done. So it's pretty well integrated. Everything flows well, so you have multiple ways to do something that you may not want to use the screen for. Go in here. You can see that you got a wireless charging pad down there, all these different USB outlets, just a little storage compartment there. You push this, that closes up. Look down under here and you actually have another little storage compartment that's actually fairly deep to keep like paperwork and things like that. You've got your cup holders there, which is, you know, standard, nothing crazy there. And then here, bam, more storage, coins, and a little bit of charge ports and all that. Boom. On the other side, you got your glove box, and otherwise, you got everything that, you see everything that you'd get in the Pacifica. Let's talk about this button right here. We'll turn our attention to here once you've got that turned on. But it's a really cool system. It pretty much just automatically helps you park and all of that good stuff. So if you have some trouble parking this larger vehicle, then that's what this is all about. So something nice to have, and it's certainly a baller move. And easy as that, we've walked through the Chrysler Pacifica. If you're on the market for a 2022, they're all relatively the same. Not a huge change. This wasn't a major redesign year or anything like that. So most of this stuff is still very much relevant. And on top of that, let's talk about driving experience. This is a pretty comfortable cruiser. It rides well. No minivan that I've ever really been in I've considered quick, fast, but this gets out of its own way. It's comfortable to drive, and it's super easy to pretty much navigate all these controls and become very familiar with this environment. And I'd imagine that would be something that parents would care about. Really, there's not much else to share. Like I said, up top, you've got a couple different compartments, your regular rear view, and then you've got this little kitty, like, deflector visor thing. And it's got a little screen protector on it right now, so apologize for this glare or anything like that. You got your controls for that. And then on the other side, controls your shade. So we'll stop that because we don't need that. Then here, you got your glasses compartment, sliding doors. You can actually turn off the sliding doors and all of that. You're in your rear trunk release, garage controls. And that's all I have for you. If you're looking for a comfortable, fairly reasonably priced minivan, the Chrysler Pacifica is it. And if you want one of these but with a little bit less bells and whistles, there is the Voyager. So that's something to consider too. It technically is a Pacifica, but they renamed it as the Voyager and did all that. So there are different options, and you can go up one step from this if you wanted to go to the Pinnacle. It's not needed for most people, but the option does exist. If there was anything really worth noting in the driving experience, I guarantee I would have showed you guys, but it's a minivan. Blind spots aren't bad. Handling is just vague. Braking, acceleration, they're all right there with the competition. This isn't a performance minivan as much as it tries to look like it's sporty. It's not all that. There's no great exhaust noise. The transmission shifts just fine. It's a solid, well-rounded minivan. And that's all I got for you guys. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, drop a comment, hit the subscribe button, and let me know if there's anything that I missed or anything that you as a Pacifica owner would want other Pacifica owners or other Pacifica future owners to know. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you on the next one.